Okay, Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers lost to the Houston Texans, and really it was a game they should have won. I watched it on Gamecast, and it seemed like every time I turned around, there was a defensive holding call on consecutive plays. No, not every other play in one drive. And if it wasn't that, it was an encroachment penalty or, in one case, an interference call. But the defensive holding calls were so often that you could argue that the Bucs basically gave the Texans the game because they came at crucial times when, had they not occurred, the Bucs would have regained the ball. Bucs offense would have regained the ball on downs, but because the Bucs defense earned a defensive holding penalty, the Texans get a first down. That happened a lot. It happened quite a bit. You have to ask why Lovie Smith doesn't vary his defensive front designs more. The design of the defensive front, featuring the 3 technique that's made the Tampa 2 style so famous, only works well in some cases, but more often than not, it's such that if one runner is out of position with respect to that person's gap, the running back is off to the races. And the formation isn't really designed to allow the linebackers to properly cover and stop the running back. I go on about how I think that scheme has seen better days. It's time for something new. But they can get around that by the proper run blitz. All right, I'm digressing a bit too much here. The Bucs defense was at fault. Their field goal kicker missed on 2 occasions that really arguably cost the Buccaneers the game. And the Buccaneers couldn't mount a rushing offense to match the power of the high-powered quarterback, Jameis Winston, who is 17 of 37 for 261 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. The problem even then is that because the Bucs' offensive design under offensive coordinator Doug Coder is predicated on long pass completions and basically lacks a really top-flight short passing game, Winston, more often than not, will put up numbers that are in the 50% range rather than 60 or 70%. If he puts up numbers in the 60 or 70%, it means that he's looking at a 400 to 500-yard game because of the way that offense is designed. But that's not going to happen a lot because in order to achieve those numbers, the offensive line has to get beat up. Winston has to hold the ball longer. These are things you don't want to have happen, okay? They need to install 1-step passes, 3-step passes out of, if they're going to pass out of formations where he's under center, and roll out passes and waggle passes. They don't have enough of those. Really, arguably, they don't seem to have many of them, any of them at all. They should take a look at what Kyle Shanahan is doing with the Atlanta Falcons in that offense, because Dirk Carter was at the Falcons last year and they got rid of him for a reason. So, they got rid of the whole coaching staff. But the point that I'm making is that Winston is their best asset, but he is only as good as the offense he's in. And I mean the offensive design, not the players. Good coaching can make a player you think is bad better.